All right, we get a repair in here. We start analyzing and taking apart so you can get in here to do the work. This one was caused by, if you're curious, was a shell cut right there, or it got punctured by the foil, something. The reason it indicates that is it's diagonal across the bias. So it's this way, it's not straight. Anything else that's straight was ripped and blown out, and you can see why it's being shredded. I've kind of trimmed this because it shredded it. Where the cut will be pretty much clean, whatever cut it. But it was a good 1.25 1.5 inch cut there. And then because wings are under very, very high loads, you can tell they're double layered from here to the center, and it took the load, blew the load out, and exploded the bladder. Then the next step is figuring out what you've got to take apart. So you have to open up the leading edge. You have to remove pads. These are all coming back. Now we get this all clean all the way out to every one of the repairs, the rips. It went into the cell a little bit, so we had to remove the cell. This pad has been loosened up and will be moved back. So now that we can get in here with a good 1.5 to 2 inches of grab on this material back in here for repair and put it back together. All right, we'll go into taping and reinforcement before we stitch. All right, so we came in here and stabilized the rip. So all that is using Dacron tape, or basically almost any kind of tape you use. We just have a bunch of little Dacron scraps. When the material is clean, it'll stick to it good. We use a sticky board, lay it all down so everything lays back where it needs to be. So all this is here to hold the material. Just keep it in place so now I can do the structural work. So it ripped here all the way down, diagonal. Here was that cut, and it goes back up under. So now that I have it stabilized, I'll go back in and do my structural taping. That will take all the load and everything will be stitched in, and you can leave this all taping underneath there. You'll never see it, and it will be there just to add a little bit of strength, if anything. Once we get the Dacron, then I will go and do the mark cloth on the sail right here and do this repair with a nice piece of red and get that in there. Anyway, now to the structural taping. All right, back to it. We got all the structural tape. You can see the black goes all up underneath here. We got red Dacron. That's red as we got. There's different colors around the world. Anyway, red Dacron, that'll be stitched around. That's structurally sound. Then you got your Dacron. That takes all the load up beyond the strength of the actual Dacron itself. We have structurally do that all here on the outside. Now we'll go back and double stitch everything, and then we also have internal taping that matches it, and then all of that combined with a double stitch in here will take the load beyond that this Dacron can hold. This is about 3.9 ounce, and we're probably looking well into 4.5 when all of this is put together for strength. Anyway, I'm gonna go and do the stitching, and I'll come back after I get it stitched before I do the closing seam, so you can see. All right, so we got all the stitching done on the repair. You can see you've got double seams. You want to double seam all this if you're a repair center and you're trying to wonder why. Scrim tape or any other kind of tapes that you use, the adhesive is not permanent. It will creep, so you want to eliminate all creep. So by double row stitching, triple stitch, you locked it down and it won't move. Then we came back here, took the white thread, restitched on our reinforcement pad or sketch pad or scratch pad, and then stitched around here. Got this double three-step zigzag stitch, and then we stitched this sail back onto the leading edge of the wing. And last but not least, we will go close up the main seam. And before that, I will have to makes it a little easier so you do not have to pull the bladder back out is now I'm going to go lay out this big blowout and get this bladder patched before I close up the main seam, and then pump and test. But I'll get this bladder patched and show you the patch. Then we'll go close it. All right, now we're into the bladder. So I got the patch onto the bladder. This is not an easy process. We've done it a lot. I'm not sure what it looks like in the video, but what I did is you can see a black line and I drew around real quick just to make sure I get at least an inch of material minimum around the cut and where it's messed up at. I cut a patch of terraid full length. Width is probably about 7 inches width and pretty darn long. That is probably a little over a foot. So you want to use a table like this using clear tape. Tape it down, get your flat surface. I left it in the kite. It's easier to pull the whole bladder out, lay it out perfectly smooth, and then work your patch onto it. So it's alcohol cleaned, warmed up, make sure there's no residue. Then you lay your patch, warm it up, work it down nicely, and once that's on, you're going to come back and start removing all your tape. All right, we got things finished up. The leading edge seam closed, and you can see the patch area, and we will do a bladder test for 24 hours. See where we're at with that, but you can see there's the cell where it was ripped here. It was completely blown out all the way down to about here, and then it's all up underneath here, and that is guaranteed for the life of the wing. That's how you repair them. On to the next one. Hey guys, Jeff here again. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell. It really helps us out in making these videos. Have a great day.